Hi Heather, good to see you. How are you?
Hi everyone. Yeah, good, thank you.
Excellent. Just first off, can I ask you how you think it's going to feel to actually be pulling on the shirt and stepping out over the line, leading England again? It's been a long time, but it could have been perhaps even longer.
Yeah, it's going to be so nice. It's been a long time coming, I think. It's been obviously great to see everyone get back playing, but I guess we've been a little bit jealous to not be out there playing. So now it's sort of set in stone. Yeah, just can't wait really. And the things that have gone on behind the scenes has been absolutely amazing. The ECB have been brilliant, and to get the setups that we've had, I know so much work has gone in. The setup's brilliant. Obviously been at a bubble in Loughborough before we moved here yesterday as well. So much hard work's gone into it, and yeah, just excited to get those three lions back on. And the weather owes us one, to be honest. So hopefully we get some good weather at the back end of September.
And how's everyone shaping up? Are we going to be expecting a sort of a high standard? Everyone sort of tuned up now and ready to hit the straps?
I think so. Yeah, we've all played quite a lot of cricket actually. So we obviously had a little bit of time in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. We've played 4 warm-up games, T20 games in Loughborough, in our 2 teams, in our Britain and Hayhoe teams, which has been really competitive, really nice. I think everyone's excited now to get back as one team and one squad and pull together. So yeah, I'm excited how the girls go. There's been some real progress actually over the last month or so, and it's been really useful as well to get 24 players together. It's given us a chance and the coaches a chance to have a look at a few more people and see those girls develop as well during that time, which has been great.
In terms of the Black Lives Matter talk and the idea of taking a knee, can you tell us where you're at with that, and maybe if you've been personally involved in the conversations with the West Indies about what you're going to do and what that means to you? Can you just take us inside that conversation and put us inside the room?
Yeah, well, we've had a chat as players, and we definitely want to do something to obviously honour the movement and give our support to it and keep the conversation happening. I've spoken to Stefani via text. We haven't had a chance to catch up yet. It's quite hard because we're in 2 separate bubbles and 1 big bubble. So I'll speak to Stefani over the next few days to work out exactly what that looks like for both teams. But us as players, we want to do something, and we're keen to support it, and we'll also be wearing the Black Lives Matter logo on our shirts during the games.
Thank you. Cheers, Heather.
Leopold, please.
Yeah. Hi, Heather. Obviously, there was a point in the summer where it looked as though there's going to be a full complement of men's games, international games, and there was a possibility, or quite a large possibility at the time, that there were going to be no women's games, despite obviously huge support from the ECB. How did your team and you keep motivated during that period?
Well, yeah, it was tough, to be honest. So we were in our first training bubble at Derby, and within 2 days we found out that the World Cup was obviously cancelled, and then South Africa had pulled out. So yeah, it wasn't a great few days, to be honest. But luckily the turnaround was so quick to get West Indies over, and I think we as players thought it would never kind of come to a situation where we wouldn't be playing any cricket. So obviously that's brilliant. It's been a very surreal time for us all, I think, and now we're getting back to some sort of normality and get back playing for England. I think we're all just really excited and very grateful as well for the West Indies for filling the void. I think it was 10-day turnaround to get them locked in to come over, and probably didn't believe it till they landed here. So yeah, obviously we're massively grateful to them and for their board and to the ECB for making it all happen.
Thanks.
Raf, please.
Hi, Heather. Given that the World Cup's been moved back a year, how far do you see this series as an opportunity to expose some of the younger players to international cricket, and how likely are we to see Sophia Dunkley in the starting 11 on Monday?
Yeah, I think you've got to remember no one's played any cricket, so obviously everyone is desperate to get out there playing, and we have to be a bit sensitive to that. And obviously getting the players that have done so well for us some cricket, but potentially it does give us an opportunity. It's given us a chance to add Sophia and Katie George to the squad as well, which is really nice. Obviously disappointed that George has missed out through injury, but they're 2 very exciting young players that have really impressed us during that that bubble and those warm-up games. Sophia at the back end of both T20 games and 50 over games has been outstanding, and Katie's really improved. Actually, she's improved her consistency and can be a real match changer for us. So it's certainly very exciting for the future. Obviously 2022 now is our big year on the horizon. We've got so much cricket that year, Commonwealth Games, T20 World Cup and a 50 over World Cup hopefully. So we're kind of working towards that now, and having a big squad of players that are going to be competing for it. And like I said earlier, having 24 players with us has given us a chance to try and build for that, and build the wider squad as well, which you want.
Finish off. In which case we'll go to Valkyrie, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. How fearful were you, Heather, that there wouldn't be any international matches for you this season? And sort of given that, looking ahead now, you've got clear air, the men are finished with, and it's all eyes on you. Do you see that as an opportunity for the women to make up some of the momentum that perhaps was lost after the T20 World Cup?
Massively. I think we've got a real opportunity to obviously show what we can do in these 5 games. I think so many people are happy to have sport and cricket back on their tellies, and hopefully they'll tune in. We've obviously got games on the BBC as well as Sky, so that's a brilliant opportunity from both those perspectives, which is great. And yeah, we're looking to really push forward now as a side as well. I think we started to see a bit of a shift towards the back end of the World Cup in terms of how we want to play as a team. Obviously the weather cut that short a little bit, and we weren't able to really see where we could go. But yeah, we've had a lot of planning time, I guess, leading into the back end of this summer. So we've had a chance to sit down as senior players and coaches and work out where we want to go as a side, and try and really push the limit of how good we can be. So that's been quite exciting, and hopefully we can show that in the 5 games. And in terms of your first question about did we expect no international cricket, I think there was sort of thoughts in the back of your mind that might happen. But I think the way the ECB have been, we knew that as players they were going to do everything in their power to try and get some cricket on. They've done exactly what they would have done for the guys, which is real progress. I don't think that would have happened sort of 3-4 years ago. So yeah, I think we knew that there was a good possibility that we're playing, and now it's great that it is locked in.
Thanks, Valkyrie. Assuming you're done, Jo Curry, please.
Hey Heather, I hope you're well. Because of the way the World T20 ended this year for England, was obviously not the way anyone wanted your tournament to end, but has it helped having an extended break to get that out of your system, or do you rather be back sooner to kind of get out of your system sooner, if that makes sense?
I think what the pandemic has done, I think it's given us a lot of perspective, and I think not a lot of us thought about the World Cup, to be honest, once it was over, because there was so much going on. So yeah, it obviously put it in perspective. What happened to us, it obviously in our cricket world it was massive, but in the grand scheme of things, it was just one of those things, I guess. So to be honest, I haven't thought about it too much. Just tried to kind of look forward, and it has been nice to have a bit of a break. I think being away for 7 weeks at that World Cup, just to come home and spend some time with loved ones and be at home has been really nice. Probably for about a month, and then I was sort of itching to get going again and know what the next thing was, which was actually quite hard, because I'm definitely someone that's motivated by what's on the horizon and what's coming up. So I think a lot of the girls found that a little bit difficult in terms of motivating themselves, but I think everyone hopefully will have benefited from that big break, and yeah, everyone's certainly raring to get going and get those 3 lines on again.
Second question for me, bubble life can obviously be quite hard, boredom can set in. As a team, how are you managing to keep yourselves entertained?
Lots of different things. There's a few rival coffee shops going on, which has been fun. Haircuts has been interesting. I think Kate Cross is planning on doing mine later tonight, which will be nice. So that's been happening. We've got a really good setup with excuse me, the games room. A few of the girls were out playing frisbee just then, and yeah, just catching up with each other really as well, because obviously we had a long time apart. So yeah, we're finding ways to keep busy. It obviously is very different. I think in this environment it is a lot harder to get away from cricket actually, and I think we'll find that a little bit during the games that do go on in the next few weeks. But I think as a group we generally get on very well, and we enjoy each other's company. So just trying to find ways to do things. Lots of cards going on as well. So Danny White's the sort of leader of Card Club, so that's nice.
Thanks, Heather. Do post before and after pictures of the haircut, won't you?
I will do.
Thanks, Joe. Izzy, please.
Heather, the way in which Australia hosted the T20 World Cup and the way in which the ECB have supported the women throughout the summer, it seems to stand in quite stark contrast between, I guess, the IPL that may or may not now be happening, the fact that South Africa and India pulled out. Do you worry about that gap between, I guess, England and Australia and the sort of facilities and the infrastructure around women's cricket in these two countries and the rest, or do you just do your job on the field?
Yeah, I guess we've been quite unlucky in the two teams that we're due to play this summer. India and South Africa obviously have been two of the hardest hit countries in the world with COVID, so I think that's a little bit unlucky in terms of that. But yeah, I guess you do worry. There's a real chance that a lot of women's teams won't play much cricket, because there's obviously a lot more that goes into playing cricket at the moment in terms of secure bubbles and time and effort and money that is required. So I think now it's a real time for the ICC to step up and support those countries as well and get women's cricket on. I think it's going to be a huge boost to obviously get us back playing, but we want people to play against, and we want high competition all throughout world cricket. And yeah, you just hope now that the boards do take women's cricket seriously and do put it on. I think the World Cup in Australia showed how much it's grown again from another world event that's been hugely successful. So it's so important now that all cricket continues, and women's cricket is a part of that.
Thanks, Izzy. Ross, please.
That's me, thanks.
Hi, Heather. Just on growth, obviously a game on the BBC next Saturday. How much of a shot in the arm can that be for you as a team, and I guess sort of sport and girls cricket in particular in this country? Yeah,
it's a chance for us to showcase what we can do as players and go and entertain. So yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously, Sky have done a brilliant job in supporting the women's game and getting it out there. But the reach, obviously, the BBC can give is slightly different. So that's hugely exciting, and to have that sort of prime slot on a Saturday as well is great, and hopefully we can go out and inspire some young girls. It's such an important thing to be able to do. I think that visibility, and women's sport hasn't been as visible this summer because of the pandemic. So I think it's hugely important that women's sport continues to be visible and people are able to see it.
And just a second one from me, if I may. You've obviously been speaking about how you deal with life in the bubble and how you do it as individuals, but how do you go about doing that as a captain when you're as in doubt as everyone else, to keep spirits high, to keep motivation high, etc.? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I don't think it changes too much. We obviously spend a lot of time on tour. We've been on tours where we've been in India and we haven't been able to go out, so it's not an entirely unique experience, I guess. And it's just sort of reading people, I think, reading where they're at. We're all going through the same thing, and having that understanding, I think, is really important. So yeah, I think that, like I said earlier, the hardest thing will be finding space as players and finding chances to get away from the game when you can literally see the pitch outside your window. So yeah, I think just being understanding of where players are at and making sure they're giving themselves the chance to switch off and get away from the game.
Thanks, Ross. Jeremy, please.
Hi, Heather. Just wondering how important the couple of matches the England players got to play in the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy were in terms of preparation for this series. Obviously, you've got a couple of good scores yourself. How good was it to actually be playing some cricket again in that tournament? Yeah,
it was lovely. I think that first ball I was facing, I was like, don't get out first ball. You haven't played cricket in 6 months. It'll be a shocker if you get out first ball. But once you got into the game, it was great to get back into the flow of things, because you can have all the nets in the world, but nothing replicates that real match practice and the rhythm of batting and bowling. So it was really nice. obviously to be able to start that competition and give it a boost as well with all the England players available, because I think the fact that it's been set up and is starting now is great, and obviously delighted to be back playing for Western Storm, a team that I played for the last 4 years. So yeah, it was nice, and it's going to be really good in our preparation obviously for this series.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Raf, and then I think unless anybody has any others, we'll end there.
Okay, Heather, can you talk a little bit about, obviously the matches are going to be behind closed doors, so there won't be crowds. Is that something that's challenging, or is it just something that kind of, I guess, you were used to for the first bit of your career playing in front of not very many people? So is it a slightly different kind of challenge for you than it was for, say, the men's team?
I think it will be different. I think particularly in T20 cricket and night games, we've had brilliant support in England the last probably 4 or 5 years. So I guess we kind of have gotten used to that. So yeah, it will be slightly strange without support in there. But yeah, I guess we have done it. We've done it in the warm-up games. And every time you go out and play for England, your own personal pride and wanting to do well for the team, and obviously trying to win games of cricket is what we get paid to do. So what we love doing as well. So I don't think it'd be too much of an issue in terms of that. Obviously, it's slightly strange in the different segregations of the ground, and it's a little bit like a sci-fi movie at times. But yeah, hopefully we're used to that and can go out and do what we do on the pitch.
Thank you.